John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Well, here we are. Welcome to Godzilla Wins. I tell you what, we got a great panel today. We've got great guests. We got great everything. And great to have you with us. So let's just start with our disclaimer, guys. Great to have you with us. And we're going to just start. There are so many things to talk about today. We've got Aaron Rodgers. We've got the NIL. NCAA ruling has come down. We're going to be talking about that, what that means to college athletics. It's kind of the end of the way that we've seen it in the past. But let me just start with our disclaimer. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. And or you can visit gamblinghelpline.org, and you're good to go. We are not a gambling show, but we do talk about our various picks, and you have to play responsibly and use your own discretion, and you're good to go. We got a great panel with us. We've got Brendan Statler from West Virginia Sports Nation and our core company. He's now one of our sales representatives. We got Matthew Lumsden, whose first love, Clemson, got knocked out by the Mountaineers. He played their baseball. Kyle Carrington is back with us. I'm sure he picked Indiana to win all these games. Logan Powell, who I met at, he does the home games for the local radio station on campus, and now part of WV Sports Nation. Jonathan Edwards, same thing, WVSportsNation.com, and the one and only Chris Saxman, your number one Pittsburgh Pirates Steelers fan. And Penguins fan. And of course, I bet against the Pirates yesterday, and they beat me again, which I bet against them two times in the last 5 days. I've lost both bets. It's unbelievable. They win 1 out of 15 games, and the days I bet against them, they win. It's like clockwork. I mean, it's unbelievable. Beating the Phillies last night, I think Phillies had a 2 or 3 nothing lead. I'm figuring that game's over. Cash that ticket. Nope, didn't quite work out that way. Anyway, it's good to have you guys. We got to start with the NCAA ruling, and then we're going to get into Aaron Rodgers. The ruling finally coming down yesterday from the judge in San Francisco. I'm going to open this up to everybody. I don't know how they're going to manage their way through this. They're basically capping the amount that any college can pay any of their players. This is going to be the revenue sports, obviously, $20.5 million. Some colleges are going to be able to do that. Some aren't. That was one ruling. We don't even know. It appeared in the ruling that the NIL was part of that, but that wasn't clear to me. And I read the thing 3 times, and I asked questions on it. Nobody could really figure that out. They also saying if you're getting an NIL over $600, it goes to a review committee to be sure that you're going to do the work and it's within a market range. So you're not getting a softball pitcher in Texas Tech $1 million to basically do nothing. So that's part of the ruling. Then they cut rosters. Let's just go to baseball and football. Those are the easiest. Baseball, they cut the roster from, I think, 37 or 40 to 34, but everybody can give a full scholarship. But then they're going to grandfather kids in that are already on the team or are portaling in. So like that didn't make any sense. So if you've got 40 now, well, obviously you're going to have 40 until there's a 4-year period over. So that made no sense to me. So let's just open this thing up, guys. I don't know who wants to start, but what a mess. When the sports journalists can't even figure out what this means, where do we go with this? Open it up, anybody. Saxman.
Well, gee, I don't have an opinion about most things, John, as you know, but this is the stupidity of the judicial branch. Okay, they should have said we're sending it back to the NCAA and Congress to figure out. This is not, you don't write laws in the judicial branch. They've made an utter mess of this thing. It won't be followed. You can't cap the amount of money that's going to be spent. It's going to find its way under the table, over the table, in the back door, in the trunk, whatever. Bags are still going to be dropped. This is no way to regulate the sport from the judicial branch. This isn't even a Band-Aid. It's not even a stitch on a gaping wound. It won't work. Other than that, I don't have too much of an opinion.
Can he even figure out what the hell they're doing?
No, it's horrible.
Yeah, no, I think this was already a dumpster fire, and they just poured some more gasoline on it. Like you said, it's hard to digest what the bill even is. Sitting down here in LSU, you're looking at this. These mid majors are not going to compete. It doesn't matter if you put a cap on it. The whole thing's a disaster. This definitely didn't help it. I'm curious to see how long it lasts before it's readdressed.
Well, I mean, it's going to get appealed. I mean, there's no question this thing is going to go on and on and on. Somebody's going to file a suit within a couple of weeks. But just a simple thing like, is it $20.5 million? Is that the money from the revenue share, or does that include the NIL? I read this thing; it was not clear to me. So, is it $20.5 million? You can pay your players, and then you get whatever NIL you want, but then that's going to a committee. So like you strike an NIL deal and now it's got to go to a committee for them to review it. And I mean, there's thousands of these going out a day. I mean, there's thousands of athletes across football, basketball, and baseball. Soccer has NIL now. There's other, it's crazy. I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to monitor it, where the $20.5 million goes, and they couldn't even set the roster. Because I guess people had appealed to her, this judge in San Francisco, and said, well, if you're cutting rosters down, well, it's not fair to the kids that are playing now because they might not have a spot. So she says, well, I'll grandfather those in plus transfers. Well, if you say plus transfers, that means that just take baseball. They have 40-man rosters, 35, I think, is on the conference, but there's 40-man rosters. Well, they're cutting that to 34, but then they're saying you're grandfathered in, even if you transfer. So basically what that means to me is you have a 40-person roster until, what is this, 2020, until 2029. How else could you interpret that? Logan, somebody jump in here.
I think the biggest problem is that, like, the whole NIL thing, they let the toothpaste out of the bottle. You can't put it back in. The damage is already done, so trying to fix all of this is a mess, and especially baseball is going to be a huge one. You talked about that. But, yeah, it's just a mess all around with NIL, and this whole revenue sharing law that is being put in is they're going to have to appeal it, like you said, and it's going to take years to fix this. And I think we're a long way away from trying to get a permanent solution to any of this.
As a college coach, Kyle Carrington, here's the issue that they've not addressed either. Okay, if I have failing grades, if I don't meet the academic grade line of the particular university that I'm in, and I'm getting paid, this is a W-4 paycheck. I'm getting paid by the university to play football. They are paying me. I get a check every 2 weeks, just like the college professors do, because that's the way they've set it up. But I'm at pick a college, and I can't Alabama, and the minimum is 2.0 or 2.45, and I'm at 1.8. So I'm not meeting the grades, but yet I'm an employee of the university playing football. What happens then? Do I not be able to play, but I still get paid? Or do they just say, well, grades don't matter now? I mean, they haven't dealt with that either, guys.
Yeah, there's no academic accountability in this state of what they're doing. Not only is it not academic accountability, it's not sustainable. They're putting a 20.5 million cap, and a lot of schools don't have 20.5 million to revenue share. So it's just going to let the rich get richer. You're going to see a lot of SEC schools get all the players, and then it's just going to make competitive balance just go out the window. So this is not sustainable. This is not. I mean, we're looking at the start of the SEC branching off and doing their own thing. It's looking like, but it's just not sustainable, and it's not idea. This is not the landscape I want my kids to grow up in the college.
Well, it's interesting. We went from one extreme to the other, right? We went to the one extreme of everybody got exploited, nobody got paid anything, and they were even taking their names and putting them in like EAS packages, which is how this whole thing started with House, without here's signing off on it or any money. And now we swung the exact other way where people are getting paid and the whole thing is a mess. And as you say, Kyle, the SEC is saying, the hell with this. We'll just go on our own and figure our own rules because we're the ones that are making all the money anyway. So screw you guys. But it's amazing. And I have a son, a ball player, as you know, Joe, who's in the portal now. So it's interesting because right now he's got a 3.95 grade average. Right now, that's playing into who's calling him up.
Sure.
But I'm thinking to myself, in 2026, is that even going to matter? Like, do you even have a GPA? You take basket weaving. Like, who cares? Because you're a paid employee. So I don't know how this thing is going to play out, but it is some kind of weird. Here's the good news. We finally have some kinds of closure to it. So I guess they'll figure it out as they go. But I got to get is Logan back in? Logan, are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir, I got it.
So think about this, guys, and then we'll get to Rogers. Just think about this. So this softball pitcher, and she's great, right? In Texas Tech, Najee. She's phenomenal. But last year or this year, she made $1 million. She got another $1 million, and they can't point to anything that she has to do. Basically, the donors just said, we want to start winning softball games. We want to get back to the College World Series. So they paid the best pitcher in college $2 million over 2 seasons with nothing attached to it. Just come and play ball. So my question is, what happens to her if she doesn't maintain her grades? And now what happens now when they're saying, well, your NIL money has to be tied to something. It's got to be market value and a return for the labor. Well, who can determine that?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the college landscape, you don't know who that middleman is, who's trying to hold everyone accountable. Right now, it just seems that whoever can throw the most money at these certain athletes, that's what matters. And getting them on the field or on the diamond, that's all that matters. And especially now with this new ruling, it's really just going to be who can throw the most money, who can have the most money, who has the deeper pockets. And right now, there is no sheriff in these college campuses that are going to hold these players accountable right now. It seems like the only thing that matters is that they can produce on the field or on the court.
Unbelievable.
John, I think the first and foremost, from an academic educational standpoint, they need to teach these kids how to handle money. And whether they take European History 101 or Calculus 102 is irrespective of the simple fact that a Texas Tech softball pitcher, women's softball pitcher, just got paid $2 million. And what's she going to look for? A $40,000 a year job, as a bank teller somewhere? Give me a break. They should be teaching these kids how to use their money responsibly, how to be responsible adults in society. If that comes with an education, okay, fine. Let's get them on a glide path to a good, solid education. But let's not kid ourselves. They're not going for a 4-year degree, in sociology. It's not what they're there for. This is the minor leagues, okay? This is the minor leagues. This is the minor leagues. It's okay. We're paying kids tens of millions of dollars from the Dominican Republic who haven't even gotten a driver's license yet. But that's okay. But we can't pay a kid from California to do the same thing. Give me a break.
Yeah, well, a lot of things come into play. I was talking to Joe's agent, Jimmy, I think it was over the weekend or during the week, because obviously he's managing some of the colleges that are talking to my son, and he told me this story 2 seasons ago about a guy that was playing in one of the California universities, and he got signed by, I don't know who it was, Colorado. And his signing bonus was like $3 million. So he didn't have a financial advisor, and Jimmy's, not a financial advisor. He's an agent. So the kid took the check while he was still playing in the university. Like he took the payout. So he had to pay 13.5% state tax from California, which was like $350,000. Had he waited until the season was over, Colorado signed him. The Rockies, their farm team, single low A, is in Washington State. You know what the income tax is in Washington State? Zero. So, like 300. All he had to do was wait 1 month and say, "Don't pay me until I'm with your farm team," and he just saved $350,000 cash money right out of your pocket that went to the state of California. So you're right. I mean, you got to teach all this stuff. It's just bizarre.
You just have to be real about this now. Okay. You can't, you're not unpregnant all of a sudden. You're pregnant. This is the deal. Deal with it. It's just, these are paid professional athletes. Treat them as such.
It's going to be interesting seeing this going forward. It's certainly fun for me to have somebody in it, so that, I'm able to get a deeper background than I would be able to get if I was just on the outside looking in like the majority of us are. It's good to have you with us. This segment is brought to you by West Virginia Sports Nation. Go to wvsportsnation.com, wvsportsnation.com. You can find all of our writers there. Hey, many of them are right here with us now. Brendan Statler is there. Jonathan Edwards, Kyle Carrington, Logan Powell, and many, many others. We've also got Matthew Lumsden. Matthew, I'm surprised you made it up today after the disaster for Edmonton last night. I know you were up like sweating bullets. You had the lead. You were about to go up 2-0. This thing was going to be very tough for the Panthers. They come back, they tie it, then you get beaten in double overtime. We'll talk about that later. I was shocked that when I saw you on the screen today. Also, Chris Saxman's with us. Thank you, as always, Chris, for being with us. Go to wvsportsnation.com and sign up for our email alerts that come out every single day. We don't inundate your inbox, but right now, following this team, I got 8 writers. Mitch did a great column. Yesterday, Mitch Rogers under Mitch Please, so you can find it there on Chase Myers. So we've also got a column that Brandon Statler did on Armani Guzman, who's didn't get any playing time, and all of a sudden he's starting. We've also got I'll just tease this, Matthew. We also got a column coming out on your brother Ben. So that's in that work. So all that's coming out. Go to wvsportsnation.com. All right, guys, thanks for being with us. Wow. You're all Steelers fans. Aaron Rodgers. The bromance has happened. Here comes Rodgers into Mike Tomlin's culture. So one of this is going to have to break. Either Tomlin's culture is the victim, or Aaron Rodgers changes his ways and he's not going on Pat McAfee every week blasting Steelers players like you did with the Jets, saying that they're not working hard or whatever he did. You're all Steelers fans. I'm not. So go ahead. Lay it on me. Start with Saxman and go right around the horn. Aaron Rodgers.
Drama is the new standard in Pittsburgh. No, look, he's a great quarterback, and Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, the Steelers will now have 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the last 5-6 years, and no trophies to show for it. Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback, 41 years of age, still very serviceable, number 8 quarterback in the NFL last year for a horrible team, by the way. I think he comes into a real opportunity. I love the fact that they're not overpaying him. Single season, less than $20 million. They got good, solid backups in Mason Rudolph, and I think Will Howard is going to come on. I like Will Howard a lot in the Yinzer language there. So yeah, I think it's a good move, solid move. I think the organization has picked up about it. We have to compete against two legitimate Super Bowl contenders in that division to begin with, and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, and I think it's a solid move, and we'll pick up the organization.
Somebody else, go ahead. You're all Steelers fans. Go.
I'm not a Steelers fan, but I'm just happy that this whole thing is over. We've known for 2 or 3 months where he was going to go, and he was dragging it out because he's the biggest drama queen the league's ever seen. Fantastic, one of the best athletic quarterbacks of our time, but I'm just happy it's over because I'm sick of hearing about it every day for months on end. I hated him when he went to the Jets because I hate the Jets. And then he went to Pittsburgh, who's also not one of my favorites. But I am interested to see because I think this actually sets Pittsburgh back a year or two in developing. Of course, you have Will Howard that can learn from a great like Rodgers, but is he going to learn the bad things from Rodgers too? And then you have Mason Rudolph in there, who's kind of like a buffer between the two.
Oh, come on. Don't give me the Mason Rudolph thing again. Come on, Statler.
What about it? What about it? He's not starting. I'm just saying he's also another person.
You guys give me the Mason. Brendan, I know you live and die with the Steelers. What's your take?
I absolutely love this move that they got Aaron Rodgers. I think that this gives them the best chance to win. You're right. Mason Rudolph was never the answer and never will be the answer. Will Howard is the future, but he's not ready yet. Yes, he won the national championship last year with Ohio State, but it is a big jump from college to the NFL. It's very rare that a player could just jump in right away and be successful. So the best route for the Steelers is to get a year or two with Rodgers and have him and even Mason Rudolph. I think Mason Rudolph is smart when it comes to the game. He just doesn't have the skill to back it up. So he learns a little bit from both of these quarterbacks over the next 2, maybe 3 years. And, Will Howard will be ready to go at that point. And Will Howard's style of play reminds me a lot of Ben Roethlisberger. So I'm very excited to see him in the future. But for right now, Aaron Rodgers gives the Pittsburgh Steelers the best chance to win a playoff game this season.
100%.
What do you think, Kyle?
10-7, maybe. First round exit again. This was just enough to put them right back at their mediocrity spot that they've been at in the last few years. He does give them the best chance to win. I think if Mason Rudolph was the quarterback, you would have seen Mike Tomlin win percentage of 500, the little streak he got going away. But with Aaron Rodgers, they surpass 500, but they're still going to be just a little bit above average at most. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's a 1-year deal. It may help develop Will Howard, but you could develop some bad habits behind Aaron Rodgers as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not a Steelers fan by no means either. So
Logan, when
I'm a little harsh.
The thing with the Jets is this to me was just a head scratcher. So I didn't, he had a metacore season, but if you look at his stats, if you look at his stats with the Jets, they almost mirrored Russell Wilson. It was almost the same. So on paper, he didn't look that bad. But one of the Jets owner, former ambassador to Ireland, I think, Woody said, "Look, we're going to sign you again, but you can't go on the Pat McAfee show." And Rodgers said, "No, I'm going to do what the hell I want. I'm going to go on a show every week." Then he goes on a show and he blasts the players. Can you imagine him doing that under Tomlin's culture in there? Could you imagine that going on for 1 week, Logan?
I don't know. I think by week 6, you might see some shades of Robert Woods or Calvin Austin running the wrong route from Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know how this relationship is going to go. It's too polar. Aaron Rodgers is a very polarizing figure politically and in very different areas of his life, and he's exploring those in many ways. And a lot of it does not involved on the football field. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are an organization that they want no BS outside of the organization. They want to show up and they want to play the right way. And Aaron Rodgers, as he's gotten up in his years, he has become more of a liability outside of the organization. And I think that's going to spell some trouble for Mike Tomlin, who has had his fair share of divas, he has had divas in the past, and he is able to handle them. But Aaron Rodgers is an experienced vet. He has his own opinions, and he's been in the league a long time. He's got a couple MVPs to his name, so he's going to have a little bit of sway, and I just don't know how the relationship is going to work.
Well, you say he deals with divas. I mean, they traded Pickens, right? They picked up Metcalf. I thought this was a great move for them because I thought and I believe in culture, and I love the Steelers culture, and I'm a big Tomlin fan, although I'm a Titans fan. But he got rid of Pickens because Pickens was an ass. That's basically, he just cut him. I mean, just got rid of him. And like, he doesn't tolerate that in the locker room, people not working, popping off. So my theory here on Rodgers, I think he comes to Pittsburgh. I think he goes on McAfee every week. He goes on Joe Rogan. And then I think if he can win a couple playoff games, then he's going to run for governor of Pennsylvania. That's my take. What do you think, Stackman?
What do I take? Yeah, look, at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as the guys have said, have a culture. That culture is winning. Lately, it's been not losing. There's a difference.
Oh, that's good.
And if he starts winning out of the gate, first game's against the Jets, all is going to be forgiven in the land of 412 Yinzer world. They'll be drinking icy lights and eating from Annie's and just loving life in the Berg. But if you don't win, you don't stay. That's just it. So I think it's a great move for the Steelers. They have a tremendous amount of draft picks next year. They can move up and get the quarterback of choice if they don't like what they see in their quarterback room this year. I think they have a lot of great pieces. The lines are developing, and I think they're going to be a very good team for a number of years. And I think this is a good pick.
What do you think, Lumsden?
I mean, I'm a diehard Patriots fan, so like our veterans out on boats with Instagram models right now, so it's not like I have much room to talk, but who cares? I mean, I think he was 25th in the league in QBR. He brought Devontae Adams over. He had Garrett Wilson. He had Breece Hall. Like, let's not act like he didn't have talent around him. Like, who cares? He's going to a worse offense. He couldn't do anything with the Jets. Sure, he's a 4-time MVP, but like, that's in the past. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the Steelers are going to be average.
And we're not talking about the fact that them being 10-7 is going to make their draft stock worsen. They're going to get a worse draft pick. So this is going to help them be a little bit above mediocre.
They're going to float in that like
they're not going to get a
22 pick. Not good enough to get anything good, but then not going to make a run.
Well, that's what I meant when I said that it's going to set everything back a year or two. I didn't exactly mean that like, oh, this is going to set the on field. I'm talking about off the field stuff like draft picks. I mean, yeah, you're going to get maybe one playoff win if you're lucky, but you're still going to be in purgatory.
There is a deep QB draft class next year, though. So there's multiple guys you can get in those later first rounds that the Steelers could pick up if they're not intrigued with Will Howard.
I just think I love the move. I mean, if I'm not a Steelers fan, so that's my disclaimer. But if I was, like, I love this move because at least you're trying to do something. I mean, if you're going to start the season with Mason Rudolph at quarterback, you're basically saying we're not going anywhere. They're trying to win a playoff game. I mean, you take a shot, right? So if anybody can get him in line, it's Tom. Remember when Brady went to Tampa, that's what they're looking for, right? The Tampa Brady magic. But remember, they were 8 games in before Tampa really started winning. They had a lot of talent on that team, but it took 8 games for, I think the offensive coordinator was Byron Leftwich,
yep.
and Bruce Arians, with the hat, the racer's hat he always had. He retired. I mean, it took them half a season to figure out, how Brady was going to fit into the system. Biggest problem you've got, Steelers fans, is I know your offensive coordinator well. He was the offensive coordinator with the Titans when they were actually winning football games, then went to Atlanta. You guys know him well. but he's not going to want to spray that football around the field. I mean, he wants to run the ball, and that's not exactly the way Rodgers sees himself. So how do you think that's going to work?
Well, that's just to try to balance the offense. You got a new running back, some new offensive linemen. You got to protect the quarterback. First and foremost, I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to get hit that much.
Right.
And he can push the ball down the field, which will open up the running lane. So it's going to be a balance. I think they'll be able to strike that balance. Look, the NFL, we can all talk smack all we want to. It comes down to health. It comes down to schemes. It comes down to matchups and talent. And you can't replace talent but so much. You can't replace speed but so much. The Steelers, to their credit, don't panic. And they've set themselves up to be competitive this year when they really weren't, because the NFL is a league based on one position and one position alone. That's the quarterback. And until you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a franchise quarterback, you're not going to make it in this league. This is a video game era. It's throwing the ball, and that's it.
All he's got to do is win the first 3 games, and Steeler Nation will fall in love with the guy. They'll be going crazy. So
they'll be naming streets for him.
Manny's will name a sandwich after him.
Love is signing for Manny's.
You can't win a playoff game with what you've got. So they took a shot. Rooney took a shot.
Right.
I thought, look, if the Titans signed him to school Cam Ward, I'd be ecstatic. So,
Look, the number one question for the Steelers, I don't think has been the quarterback. It's been signing TJ Watt now, because he is the heartbeat. He is the heartbeat of that defense.
You got to sign him. Yeah.
You got to sign him. And I think getting Rodgers under 20 helps that process.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, let's move on. NCAA baseball regionals, super regionals, right? It's been so exciting. You never saw some of these games. Let's start with North Carolina in their series. The Tar Heels blowing out Big 12 Arizona 18-2. Louisville at home, they won their game, beating Miami 8-1. Oregon State won their first game 5-4, coming back over Florida State. But then the big upset, Coastal Carolina in extras in 10, upset Auburn at home. Let's just run these down. Anybody jump in? Any shot here for the Wildcats of Arizona, or is this thing basically over?
They're done. Just go to the night session games. The first 2 games weren't very appealing to watch. Oregon State down 3 runs down to their last out. They come back. That was absolutely electric. And then Coastal Carolina, the disrespect's getting insane. I mean, they're a 52-win team. They've got established guys. They have an established coach. But let's not forget they've won a College World Series.
Right.
Auburn was a 38-win team, didn't win the regular season, didn't do anything in the tournament. They weren't a 4 seed. I mean, I think Coastal is being severely disrespected, and I think they're going to get it done this weekend.
That's going to be interesting. I mean, if you're a Florida State fan, you got to be dying. They needed to get one more out. They couldn't do it. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough to get up the next day after that, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. Florida State, they blew a 4-1 lead.
Down to the last out.
And, down to the last out. That's the gut wrenching. You don't just wake up the next day and just get over that. So that heartbreak loss is going to carry over, and I think Oregon State.
Well, I think they need it. I think they need to get a closer in there. I mean, they just couldn't get that final out. I mean, watching that game, because I did have it on. I was on an airplane getting back from wherever I was, Washington State. And I'm like, okay, well, this game's over. They just couldn't get the final out. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but on the bright side, I mean, I guess they will have that heartbreak this morning, but it's good to have a quick turnaround too. Get it off your chest.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, your season's on the line. Might as well not stew over it for an extra day. I think, that's the best situation possible. But I do think Oregon State probably going to lock that one up today. And also, I do want to say, I mean, Coastal Carolina, that's not an upset unless you're an SEC person.
Bingo.
I'll say. If you watch baseball, if you watch a lot of baseball outside of the SEC, there's a lot of teams. You see why? I mean, that went around all in the regionals. Look at all those SEC teams that got upset by lesser teams. I mean, they have less money, but there's still better teams out there. Coastal Carolina is an elite an elite program and has been for years. I don't think it's an upset at all. But I think the most surprising one yesterday was Arizona. I mean, how do you get blown out by 16 runs? I get UNC is a great team too, but Arizona won the Big 12.
Right. I hate to say that Arizona's done after one game, but after you get destroyed 18-2, I think that's so deflating. It's going to be almost impossible for them to come back from. Coastal Carolina has been impressive all year. I don't find this them beating Auburn very shocking either. They've been impressive all year. Another game that was a little shocking to me in a way, may not have shocked you guys, was how easily Louisville beat Miami, because Miami has shown a good bit of fight this year, but they got it beat 8-1. So a lot of surprises going around, and I think we're going to see some more surprises in the games today.
Yeah, that Miami game, Miami didn't really get outplayed so much as you would think in the scorecard, being 8-1. It was just those couple innings that Louisville just pounced on, and then Miami just couldn't come back. So, I mean, Miami is really young, and that could be what's affecting them. They have a lot of freshmen. I think today they're going to be starting a freshman starter. So they're just going to have to slow the game down and just try and figure things out inning by inning. The talent disparity is not huge between Louisville and Miami. Louisville just came out and pounced on Miami early. But for the rest of the games, Oregon State and Florida State was probably the best game of the day, best game I've watched of the regionals, super regionals so far. It was a really action-packed game, really good pitching. And Oregon State, that is what you needed. That is the recipe that they cooked up. It's worked perfectly so far. Now today they're going to have their ace starting. So for Oregon State, the home team, they got exactly what they wished for, and they're looking to close it out today.
I thought it was interesting, Logan, that the coach of Oregon State, that they were an elite program as well, didn't start as ace in the opener. I mean, I was shocked at that. And then, of course, when they were losing 4-1, I'm like, well, you should have started your ace. I think they figured if we can win that first game, we can then go at a race and then close it out. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So sometimes these coaches, they make decisions. They don't look good. It didn't look good in the bottom of the ninth when in the middle of the ninth, it looked like a disastrous decision. By the time the game was over, the guy, he's put himself in a very enviable position. I don't see how Florida State comes back here. I think they're done. We'll see what happens. But interesting, Louisville might be a shocker team too, guys. Okay, let's move on to today's games. We're, of course, headlining West Virginia going to LSU. So the bookmakers in Vegas have the series at 4-1. 4-1. That's the biggest odds of anything here, which means to win $100 on the Tigers, you have to put $400 up. They're 4-1 favorites. They're 3.5-1 favorites in the opening game. They got two starters that have dominated college baseball. They both throw over 100. And then, of course, the Mountaineers are countering with Griffin Kern. And then you saw the article we did. If they can get a lead, Myers is coming in, and maybe they could steal that game. But on paper, this is a mismatch. I mean, there's no way on paper you can pick West Virginia or bet on them.
But
the game's not played on paper. It's played in the field, and they keep putting. Go ahead, guys, weigh in.
Indiana Pacers, line 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that for today's game, West Virginia is going to go down 12-5, probably in the 5th or 6th inning, and somehow, some way, going to crawl back into it and just barely win. Every time you think this team is done and they have no chance of winning, they somehow find a way to pull it off. This is a fun team to watch right now.
Yeah, which if you talked to us 2 weeks ago, you'd think, oh, well, how'd they even get there?
Yes.
It's flipped completely back. We're back to the team that we saw in the first 3 quarters of the season. Now, what will we get today? Who knows? But yeah, it is a mismatch, and I think it's going to take a lot and WVU has to win tonight. Tonight is the must-win out of the series. If they go down one game in this best of three, they're done. But if they can steal a win tonight with Kern on the mound and get some bats hot, at least pour on 8 runs. If they can get 8 runs somehow against an ace, one of 2 aces, because they're going to have to face 2. But if they can somehow do that, then they can win tonight, and then it's a brand new series. But they have to go up 1-0 tonight, or it's not going to be a series.
Yeah, for
Anybody
West
else want to
Virginia.
weigh in? Logan?
Yeah, for West Virginia, their bats have come back. Their offense is alive. However, it's come at the worst time because LSU has arguably the best pitching staff in the nation, led by 2 of the best starters in the nation. 2 starters that are top 3 in strikeouts. The team as a whole is top 10 in multiple categories, ERA, statistical categories like WHIP, and all those things. So the Mountaineers' offense is going to be tested more than they ever have this weekend against LSU. However, it's going to be their pitching that they need to bring a little more out of if they're going to get past the Tigers, because we know what the LSU is going to bring in their bullpen. We don't know what the Mountaineers are going to do. You don't have many arms that you trust at this point in the season for the Mountaineers. You have Meyer. You might have Bassinger. Who else do you have? So those 2 guys are going to have to step up, and Kern's going to have to really step up in game 1. He's going to have to go deep, 7-8 innings, just to try and give the Mountaineers a break and allow Meyer and Bassinger even to be open for game 2 and 3 if it happens.
Well, I think you kind of nailed it there. They've got to win the first game. Somehow they got to figure out how to stay in it. I don't think in this case, Brendan, if they get down by 6 or 7 runs, I don't really see them coming back. I'll make one comment though about the Kentucky game. I think the one that they won on the Saturday. Days are running into me because I've been traveling. But I remember telling Ann on the phone, we were watching a game. She was in the East, I was in the West. And I said, the Kentucky team is celebrating. They had like a 5-run lead or something. Like they're celebrating in the dugout. They're going on ESPN and they're talking about, the next step. And I'm thinking to myself, you're celebrating this game's not over. I mean, and that to me, I was not shocked when the Mountaineers came back, but when you're celebrating in the dugout like you're going to Sunday or whatever the next day was, Monday, I forget. You got a 5-run lead in the 7th inning. I mean, how many times are you going to do that? I just thought that was bad form, bad karma, and we'll see what happens today. Okay, let's all make our picks here for this big one, and then we'll move on. Louisiana State University, Baton Rouge, West Virginia. Who comes out on top? I'll go right around the horn. Statler.
West Virginia is going to come out on top today.
Matthew Lumsden.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on Griffin Kern. I think if it gets to game 3, West Virginia can get it done. You saw LSU's vulnerabilities last week. That being said, Cade Anderson, in my opinion, is the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to go with LSU and give him one.
All right.
I've got WVU stealing one tonight, and maybe I'm going to go with WVU, but I think LSU takes the series.
Kyle?
In a perfect world, we see Murray State, UTSA, Coastal Carolina, West Virginia all win. Underdog stories, but I think LSU outmatches West Virginia, so I'm taking LSU.
Chris?
Go Tigers. It's hot in Baton Rouge.
All right, Logan?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tigers as well. Their pitching is too good, and their hitting is good enough to get past the Mountaineers.
I think this is a bigger mismatch than Arizona State. I don't see them winning either of these games. They've not faced West Virginia, and I love my Mountaineers, but we try to be honest on this show, except when we're talking about the Astros. Then I'm completely dishonest with my own emotions and the Penguins, right? But other than that, they've not faced this level of arms. Remember, this was a team that was hitting against Queens College, Lipscomb, Jacksonville State, some of the weaker teams in the NCAA, BYU, whatever. Now they're facing, 2 guys that are going to the major leagues. I think it's a little bit different. And both these guys throwing 100. They got elite stuff. I don't see them winning either game. Having said that, it's been a great run. Do you know how hard it is to get to the super regionals 2 times straight? Very hard to do at the level they're at. They've now, and what it does for them is they get recruits in early, like they're getting top people in early because you want to be part of that. So even though if they get beat, I think they're going to be setting themselves up for a great 2026. All right, guys.
Well, LSU, I think LSU's number one priority is if they get the lead and they get to the third of the game, is to put them away and not take the foot off the accelerator. If to Brendan's point earlier about how the Mountaineers are scrap. Look, if you're a scrappy ball club in baseball, you can come back and make a real thing. You can turn the momentum, the emotions around this thing, the psychology around this thing. They need to put them away. If they don't, they can
the Mountaineers face 2 5-run deficits to come back to make it to the Super Regional. So they are no shortage of coming back and winning the ball game. Yeah.
What's that mentality? When you get that mentality, you believe you can come back no matter what it is.
I think Saban
you start believing in yourself.
Projecting that mentality onto them. So
yeah, that's huge in baseball, especially at the younger kids.
It's gonna be fun. This segment is brought to you by Rosie's Gaming in Virginia. Go to rosiesgaming.com. Rosiesgaming.com. Have fun, win money. Rosie's has the best slot machines in the country. 5 locations in Virginia. They're in Vinton, just outside of Roanoke. In Danville, on the south side. They're in Richmond, right by our studio. Of course, Colonial Downs, which I'm going to be starting in July for the horse racing meet in New Kent. They're in Hampton. And, of course, they're in Northern Virginia, in Dumfries, just outside the interstate where they have a hotel. Great place to bring your significant other. Great date night. You're going to have fun. Also, they have the biggest jackpots, highest payouts. Why? Because they have the lowest take of any casino in America. And that's what the Virginia General Assembly did. They said, you want to come in here and you want to do gambling? That's fine. But we're going to give the majority of money back to the players. So that's why they have the biggest payouts, biggest jackpots. The food is great atmosphere. Go to rosiesgaming.com, rosiesgaming.com. Plus Rosie's, you didn't know this, a founding sponsor of this Godzilla Win show, a founding sponsor. So we thank them for that. Thank them for their continued support of our show. Thank you, Rosie's. It's my and Ann's favorite place to go when we're back in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Right now, we're in Washington, D.C., so it's just a little jaunt down 95, about 20 minutes, actually. If you can get out of town without the traffic, you got to time it whenever they open up those interstate things, whatever they have, the Easy Pass, right? It only goes one way. You got to figure the times out. And then you can get out of here without a hassle. That's pretty good. Anyway, having said that, let's go to some of these other series, and want to get you guys take on it today. Murray State and Duke. Murray State have any chance at all here, guys?
Why not?
I mean, it's been surprising so far, so I guess it's plausible.
Yeah, I'm done ruling teams out in this tournament, especially. But also, like, Duke is not the most. I mean, they've faced tougher opponents this season and been successful.
Right.
Murray State has. So I think it's a complete toss-up. I think whoever out of this super regional makes it to Omaha is going to get decimated.
Murray State.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Murray State, they have a good enough offense that they can keep in these games. However, I just think Duke is going to overmatch them.
Tennessee, Arkansas. This is going to be one of my favorites. I think these are two evenly matched teams. Arkansas, obviously the favorite here. They're at home in Fayetteville, right? Is that it, Chris? Fayetteville, right? So they're at home. They're a tough place to play, but Tennessee is Tennessee. I mean, they just keep winning. What do you guys see here?
I think this is the matchup of the weekend, without a doubt. I think it's 2 elite teams. It's elite programs. If you know anything about them, they hate each other. So it is going to be absolutely riveting to watch. And Liam Doyle on the mound for Tennessee tonight is an absolute psychopath, and he throws 100 miles an hour from the left side. That's can't miss TV. You got to be locked in for this one for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Doyle's. Wow. If LSU doesn't have the best starters in the nation, Doyle is. So I believe that this is going to be the best series of the weekend. Like you said, Matthew, I think these are two SEC powerhouses, two of the best programs in the nation. There's not much more you want out of this. I mean, it's going to be a great venue. Just going to be great games, and it honestly going to be must watch TV.
It's a shame. It's a shame it's not in
I
Omaha.
know, right?
Yeah.
It is a shame because you got two of the most fun, best teams to watch. Okay, make your picks. Tennessee, Arkansas. Who wins?
Tennessee.
Go Hawk.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Take the Hawk.
Matthew.
I'm going with Tennessee. Liam Doyle's going to get them out to a hot start. They're going to get it done.
Kyle.
Give me Liam Doyle. I'm going Tennessee as well.
Logan.
Give me Tennessee as well for the same exact reason.
Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Vols.
I'm going with Arkansas at home. It's tough to beat these regionals at home, and we're kind of. I think even if Arkansas gets beat tonight, which is possible, I think they still win 2 out of 3. Arkansas, they're number 3 in the nation for a reason. They have a very well balanced team, a lot of depth. So I'm going to be the outlier here and go with Arkansas. Okay, we're going to make one more round of picks, and that.
The home Hogs. Going with the home Hogs.
Tennessee.
If you look right now at these super regionals, I mean, the only home field you could see potentially losing is Auburn, right? And I think Auburn comes back, wins tonight, and then they set up a game 3. Other than that, look, University of Texas San Antonio, they're not going to beat the Bruins. Florida State is not going to beat Oregon State. I don't think West Virginia beats Louisiana State, and I think Arkansas wins. So that it just makes it tough. These teams on the road. I think Louisville wins, and so we'll see what happens tonight in Auburn. But this home field advantage, guys, could you imagine if West Virginia got home field and they were playing Duke? Who do you think would win that? We would. We win it in 2 games. These home teams, man, it's tough, guys. It's tough.
I'd like to contrary that though. I'm on UTSA for sure.
I'm on UTSA as well.
I love the Roadrunners.
They casually beat Texas twice.
The Big Ten's atrocious. The Roadrunners are legit. I'm all in on UTSA.
Why do you guys dissing the Big Ten baseball?
Oh, it's terrible. You watched Oregon last week. That is not a serious baseball.
Garbage.
Oh God, I can't go into it. But you're making me laugh. Anybody wants to win? 888-480 John. You guys crapping on the Big Ten. 888-480-5646. If you want to weigh in, Al will be happy to take your calls here on Godzilla Wins. All right, guys. I know we're going to go off schedule here just a little bit, but Indiana Pacers, what the hell is going on? I mean, they come in to OKC, a 9.5-point underdog, win the first game. I mean, they beat the Knicks in 6. They beat Cleveland. I mean, what is the deal with the Pacers? They can win this whole thing. Who wants to start? Go to Kyle.
I mean, basketball is a game of runs, and a team that play with the pace that the Pacers play with, it's always going to be a chance for them to go on a run. Luckily, their run happened in the fourth quarter last game versus the Thunder. They never led the whole game until it was 0.3 tenths of a second left in the game. So they went on a run at the right time, which they can do. Don't count out this team, man. They play so fast and so in control. They play fast with – it's organized chaos. They play so fast, but they don't turn the ball over a lot. So it's like they give themselves a chance any day because their offense is just so elite. And you would think going against an elite defense like OKC, who has the balance on offense, that it would just be a mismatch. But you could never count out the Pacers versus anybody just because of their play style. Rick Carlisle is doing a fantastic job. To me, he's coach of the year. He didn't get it, but you can't count this team out.
You look at Coach Carlisle. He's coached winners in so many different cities. I lost track. I think he played saxophone, if I'm not. So I take all this stuff from memory, but I think he played for UVA back in the day. He was a really good defensive player. and he's coached this team. I mean, we go on and on and on. But no matter where the guy goes, he wins, and they always play. He always has a very disciplined team that doesn't turn the ball over. It doesn't matter where he goes. That's always been his signature. Take care of the basketball. Oklahoma State has to win the second game at home, or they're in big trouble, guys. Right?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the thing is like, what else does Tyrese and everyone else on the Pacers have to do to get some respect? I mean, I think they like it at this point, but I just don't see. And the thing is, they don't turn the ball over a lot, but in game one, that first half, the Pacers turned the ball over more than any other team has in the first half of a finals game in NBA history. So OKC was doing it, but like, I haven't seen a single playoff run. This is the best single player playoff run since Dirk, I think. I think what Tyrese Halliburton's doing right now is incredible. And you lock down SGA and keep him off the foul line. Look what happens. Pacers in 5.
Pacers in 5.
Oh, wow.
That's a big one.
Wow.
Well,
No,
I want to see cash in the barrel.
I don't have money, so
that
it doesn't matter.
That is drunken smack talk at 2:30 in the morning. Let's just be honest. Look at the stats. The stats tell you everything. The Pacers shot with much more efficiency from 2 points and 3 points, and they out-rebounded the Thunder by almost 20 rebounds. I think OKC will make some adjustments. I'm just saying, because they barely won with the statistical disparities and some of the most important elements of the game.
Good.
OKC made a huge mistake taking Hartenstein out of the starting lineup. So when they took him out
That too.
of the starting lineup, they went smaller, thinking that they could keep up with Pacers, but they went so small that they couldn't rebound, and that hurt them. But I think they go back to Hartenstein, and Thunder will take care of business in this series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Case and Wallace on Pascal Siakam was the biggest mismatch I've seen in a while. I mean, it was just butter every single time. He'd get the ball in the paint and he would just spin off him, and it was just easy. I mean, every single time. And then the rebounding disparity was just astronomical. So the Thunder are going to have to make an adjustment. Isaiah Hartenstein is going to have to get into the game. He's going to bring in bigger size. Chet Holmgren is also going to have to step up. He didn't do anything in game one. He's going to have to step up. He was supposed to be a big focal point of this series with Miles Turner matched up with him. Miles Turner outplayed him in game one. So Chet's going to have to show up. Hartenstein's going to have to get in the lineup. And the Thunder are going to have, like you said, John, they're going to have to win this game too. They're going to have to – they can't go in Indianapolis down 0-2. The fans are going to be rocking. Indianapolis is playing great basketball. Halliburton's playing great basketball. And if you're going to go down 0-2, it's not going to spell for good trouble.
Yeah, this series is nowhere near over. These two teams are very, they're as closely matched as you could be. These are definitely the two teams that deserve to be in the final. These are the two best teams in basketball. You have Halliburton doing what he does, another buzzer beater at the wire to win the game. You got Pascal Siakam, what he's doing, and you have SGA on Oklahoma City side. This is going to be an electric series. I believe that this is going to go 7 games. I don't see this series wrapping up any sooner. It's going to go back and forth, back and forth. It's going to be an exciting series.
Yeah, I'd love to get John and Saxman's take too. I know I have an established track record of dissing the NBA, but I think the NBA needs Indiana. I mean, this is a team that it feels like they're down 20 points with 45 seconds left in every game, and they somehow win. Tyrese Halliburton is –
That's why I'm picking him.
He was voted by his peers.
They should lose every game, and they never do.
Tyrese Halliburton voted by his peers as the most overrated player in the league, and he responds to that by just daggering every single franchise. And I swore I'd never watched the NBA, but you get me Pat McAfee, floor side, game 3, I think I might be turning it on. I mean, he's telling Chalamet and Ben Stiller to send their ass back to New York. Like, the Pacers, they have me intrigued. I think I'm tuning in for game 3. So,
well, this is not. Let me put it this way: this is not your Rick Smith's Indiana Pacers. Like, we can tell you that. Remember him with who was their center, Rick Smiths? He was always getting in fights. He never scored, and it's a little bit different. This team is a little bit different than those Miller Smiths Pacers. Let's go around the horn here and make our picks. We got to do it quickly. We've got no, actually, I don't have any time. I'll have to do that when I get back. You're on Godzilla Wins. We're going to go to the top of the hour. And this show brought to you by WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Our panel is going to be right back. We got hockey, we got basketball, we got a lot of stuff coming up, and baseball. Keep it right here.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
It's the Sports Pickin' Show with the guys in the know. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com. Godzilla wins!
For entertainment purposes only.
They make me say that.
Well, no sense waiting for John to come back. Who's your favorite NBA player of all time?
Oh, you got to
Brandon
go
Statler.
Michael Jordan. It's a toss-up between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, but I got to go with Michael Jordan as the greatest.
Not the greatest, your favorite.
Well, I would probably Kobe Bryant if I'm going with my favorite.
Yeah, I got to go with Kobe. I never watched MJ. LeBron doesn't do it for me. Kobe was the man.
Kyle.
Kobe all day.
Kobe, your favorite of all
time.
All right, Logan Powell.
Kobe would be different. I'll say Dirk.
I like it.
The child of the '70s, Dr. J. The 76ers had a great theme song, 5, 6, 76ers. I think I don't know how it went, but every time it came on at my fraternity in college, we would come up under someone and put them up on their shoulders. We'd have like 100 people dancing on top of shoulders. It was unbelievable. So that was the 76ers song. We were just loud about the 76ers, probably for the music more than anything else. But Dr. J was probably the first legitimate superstar that captured the attention of the nation due to his frankly athletics and aerobatics and all that kind of acrobatics and all that kind of good stuff. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think probably the most underrated NBA superstar of all time. Who's your most underrated superstar NBA all time, Logan?
Let's go with. I'm gonna go with more of a role player and Robert Horry. He was, one.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is underrated. That is underrated, probably for a reason. Kyle Carrington.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Most underrated is Tracy McGrady.
Ooh.
Okay, Lumsden.
I'm gonna go not as low key as Logan here, but I still think Dirk deserves more credit. That finals run was ridiculous. I mean, by himself, that team was. I mean, no disrespect, they weren't very good, but like, I think Dirk deserves a little bit more credit. He's definitely a star, but I still think underappreciated.
Underappreciated Brendan Statler, NBA, most underappreciated superstar of all time.
Chris Bosh.
Also not a superstar. Okay, John, back to you.
Frazier. Clyde.
That's a great one. That's a
Grew
great
up
one.
in New York, watching
Glide the
him
Gride.
get, make so many key plays defensively, make so many steals when the game was on the line, when they paired him up with Earl the Pearl Monroe, which we got from the Baltimore Bullets at the time. They back then had the best backcourt duo in the history of the NBA, better than when Bob Cousy was on the Celtics. And so that was one of the most dynamic teams ever. Walt Frazier, Dick Barnett, Earl the Pearl, Dave DeBuscher, Bill Bradley, Willis Reed, Phil Jackson. He's rattled these names off, right? All right, guys, good to have you with us. And Al, we'll talk offline about some of these ads. We'll get that fixed up. By the way, you can get us on smart TV. All you have to do is, if you have Roku or Fire Stick or Apple TV, go to any of those devices, go to the apps piece of that, put in my name, John Fredericks, up we pop, and you can download the app and save it. We're on Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. right through to 3 p.m. I'm on 6 to 10, and then we go right through to that. Michael Patrick Leahy, 10 to 1, Rob Carson, 1 to 3. So we're building our network out, and of course, right here on Godzilla Wins, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday. Good to have you with us. Guys, this segment is brought to you by my good friend Mike Lindell at My Pillow. He's got a great sale going on right now. You want sheets? I got the slippers on right now. Joe taught me the best idea to saxman ever. He wears his My Slippers on the plane, right? Most brilliant idea, because then when you got to take your shoes off, you just slip your slippers back in. You're comfortable. He puts his walking shoes there in his backpack. And I wear my slippers all the time. These things are fantastic. If you don't have them, you're depriving yourself of one of the greatest comforts in life. Also, the comfort, there's Giza sheet sale he's got right now. These sheets are phenomenal. They're $45, $49.99. Any size, any color, anytime, any place. Just go to mypillow.com/Godzilla, mypillow.com/Godzilla. He's also got an energy drink that you can get 3 of them for free. Try it out. mypillow.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. Do it now. It's a win-win situation. I want to thank My Pillow for another founding sponsor of Godzilla. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Did we make our picks for the NBA? Why don't we do that? Who's going to win the finals? I'll start. Pacers in 6. Stop.
I'm going to go Pacers in 7. I think this goes the distance.
Matthew Lumsden.
Pacers in 6 are getting it done at home with Pat McAfee celebrating.
Kyle Carrington.
Thunder in 6.
Thunder in 6. All right. Saxman.
Thunder 6.
Powell.
Thunder in 7.
You guys are all going with the Thunder, right? You're dissing Indiana, but I agree with Matthew. I think if the Pacers win this thing, it actually revitalizes the NBA. There was a lot of people that kind of the narrative was the worst possible scenario is Indiana, Oklahoma City, 2 small markets. Nobody cares. I think it's the opposite. I think it can generate a lot more excitement just for that reason. And kind of the NBA was kind of getting stale with the same team. So we'll see what happens there. But I think I have the opposite view on that. Guys, we got to get to hockey. We have got to get to this series. That game last night, unbelievable. If you're an Oilers fan, you just sunk. I don't know how you got any sleep last night. Oilers had that game. They were staring at a 2-0 lead. They had control of the series. They were finally knocking off the Panthers. It just looked like, okay, here we are, right? And I bet the Oilers obviously to win the Stanley Cup over Florida. So I'm thinking I'm sitting pretty, and then they tie it. Then they go to overtime. Then Panthers win it in double overtime. Matthew, you're a diehard, bleed on the sleeve Edmonton Oilers fans. Run us through your evaluation of that game, your emotions, and what happens now.
I don't even know. It's the same thing. It's like super pumped, and then it's just an absolute roller coaster of I want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I love this team. I hate this team. Stuart Skinner's a waste of space. Just, yeah, it was kept me up way too late. very disappointed, obviously, with how it ended. Need to get one down in Sunrise. I still have faith that they get it done. I think they're the better team. They're quicker, and the Panthers' forecheck is not having the impact that it normally has just because of Edmonton's speed. So we'll see. I'll go Oilers at 6 still.
Did you disagree with any of the moves they made in the third period? Would you have done the same thing?
I mean, obviously, looking back, it's easy to disagree now. At the time, I don't think I was too upset with any of it. Lucky to get to OT. Obviously, Perry found in the back of the net late there. But, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. I feel like we've outplayed them pretty significantly for the most part, with the exception of maybe 2 periods. So to be 1-1, and, of course, Marchand getting the goal, just disgusting. The only thing that could have made it worse was if it was Vegas in a Western Conference Finals. I know Saxman knows my disdain for the Golden Knights. It was just –
I guess the question for the audience, what team can you take the Oilers and go as a translation for those of you who follow basketball or football or baseball? What is the most similar team in other professional sports? People go, okay, now I get what this guy's so wound up about. Very talented, should be winning, but just doesn't.
Could you go to the Bills? I feel like the Bills. You got a Josh Allen, Connor McDavid comp almost. Elite level player.
Okay.
I'd go, they're there every year, but just can't get over the hump.
Like the first era of Bills, 4 times the Super Bowl, couldn't pull it out. Wyatt Wright, Scott
four in a
Norwood,
row, and now
Brad.
Allen can't get past Mahomes. It's just like the same thing every year. You think that this is your year, and it just never is.
So this is your Buffalo Bills for the NHL. Got it. I think that's a great matchup.
It's painful, but plenty of hockey left. I think they're the better team. We'll see.
No, I enjoy your misery. Thanks for sharing.
But I mean, at least I'm not a Pirates fan. So
Hey, come on now.
All right.
We get beat up enough.
Well, you got to win a game in Florida. That's the thing.
Hey, that doesn't mean anything because we don't have the level of talent that you have,
And we
so
don't
that
have
means
any
nothing to me.
expectation.
And we know we're going to beat them.
Right.
I felt the need to deflect.
We aspire to 40% wins.
I
We
needed to
aspire
deflect my
mediocrity.
pain. So
You can't take it here. That means nothing.
If I bet against Pittsburgh every night, you guys would win the division. That's all.
Start doing it, John. Come on.
The problem for people, I know we're not on baseball right now, but we can get to it. But the Pirates changed their managers. They've filled in some holes. They're gonna start winning almost 500 baseball. Wow.
Yeah, but as long as Schemes doesn't go 8 innings with 1 earned run, they're dangerous. If he does that, they're not going to win. But
they have a great starting lineup. They have like the second most quality starts in the major leagues. The problem is everybody else.
No, I think it's a 2.04 ERA.
That's not true. They're mediocre. I shouldn't say
We'll get to baseball in a minute. No,
Yeah,
I'm the one that introduced it, so I'm the problem, right?
Back to hockey. You guys all give me your takes on how Edmonton's going to get this done.
Let's
give
get back
me
to
words of
hockey.
affirmation.
All right, I'm gonna bail you out here, Matthew. Now, my disclaimer: I bet Edmonton. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. Obviously, I want to see him win. But I'm with you. They're the better team. The problem is, like, I really thought about getting up today, and you know how DraftKings has that thing where you can cancel out your bet, right? You lose maybe 10 or 15% of it. His series is tied 1-1. If I was getting a little more on my bet, I would have taken it. But because, they split, Panthers split on the road, my cancel bet number went way down. So I just decided to stick with it. But it's like they're the better team. There's no question about it. But the Florida, they just win these games. It seems like they're mentally tougher than a lot of the teams they play. They're fighters. They're scrappy. They're a very tough team to bet against. There's something with the Panthers that are scary when you get to that third period. Like when they got to overtime, I knew there was no way Edmonton was going to win that game. I just knew it. Matter of 1 overtime, 2 overtimes. So I think Edmonton's a better team, but this Panther team there's something about them on that ice. They just are relentless. And then I'll turn it over to you guys. Go ahead.
I disagree with you guys about them being the better team. I think they're the more talented, more skillful, more exciting team. But when it comes to toughness makes great teams sometimes. I think that You got Kachuk, Brad Marchand, Sam Reinhart, Alexander Barkov. Those guys just are the epitome of toughness. And I think they out tough opponents, and I think they play better as a just team camaraderie as a team. I think that Edmonton Oilers got the excitement. They got the Connor McDavid. He's the best hockey player in the whole NHL. I think they have the Leon Draisaitl's, they have the talent, but talent doesn't make you necessarily better. I think that Florida Panthers are the tougher team, and that's how they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Kyle. And the perfect example you just laid out of sometimes more talent doesn't make a better team. The best team to compare is the 2013 Pittsburgh Penguins, the year they went out and got Jerome McGinley, Brendan Morrow, all these Douglas Murray. They went out and got all these great players. So what happened to them that season? They got swept by Boston in the playoffs. So sometimes having a team that's put together better, a gritty team that maybe doesn't have the talent of a Connor McDavid or Draisaitl, sometimes that's better having that scrappy team that's meshed a little better together. And I think that's the difference in this series. And I think that's why Florida is going to come out on top. I mean, Edmonton has to win one of these games down in Sunrise. The crowd's going to be rocking down there. They cannot afford to lose both these games or series is over. If they could steal one down in Sunrise, then they're right back in it. This series could go the distance, but it all starts with stealing one of these games. I think Florida gets it done in 6 if I'm making a pick today. That's my prediction.
Yeah, when you get to these playoff games, these finals, no matter what sport it is, it's all about matchups. And Florida, they are a very physical team. They built their identity around that. Edmonton, they have the star power. And I haven't watched much hockey. I just started getting into it this year. Whenever I see Connor McDavid on the ice, I can just feel his aura and get scared for the other team. I know they lost last night, but when Connor McDavid has the puck, he just races down the ice at an incredible speed. And sometimes that chippiness or that toughness that Florida can have, it don't do much if you can't catch him. So I think Edmonton has the star power to get in the series and to win the series. However, Florida, they have the experience with Brad Marchand. They have the toughness. And last night they proved that even though that they lost the lead, with 30 seconds left, they battled in the first overtime. Edmonton controlled that first overtime pretty much for most of it. But in that second overtime, Florida was able to come back. And it's in Edmonton. And it was one of these games where it was very physical from the very beginning. It was back and forth. I think in the first period, it was like 3-2. So it was a very high-scoring game early. And then as the game got on, both goalies, respectively, started to tighten up. So I think overall, this series is going to be really exciting, and you're not going to miss it.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about hockey is such a great team sport that the all-stars, the superstars aren't on the ice all the time. And you have to win those extra line matchups, those down the line matchups. And Florida just seems to get the scrappy, crappy goals that just seem to trickle in like the overtime winner last night from Marchand. And who but Marchand would get that one, right? Dagger, talking about a dagger. But Edmonton still should win this thing. I mean, this is what their third crack at this team, and they should win this thing. So I'm gonna go with them in 7.
All right, we'll go around the horn. I'm picking Edmonton in 7. I think they have to win a game in Florida. They win a game in Florida. Now your series is best 2 out of 3, and we got 2 games at home. So, but they just, if they don't win a game in South Florida, forget about it. I mean, it's over. But I think they'll get that done. I think they'll win a game. This series is going to go 7. I'm going to go with Edmonton in 7. Brandon Statler. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with Florida in 6, actually.
Matthew Lubson.
Edmonton in 7. They're the better team, and going back to back is tough to do for anyone.
Kyle Carrington.
I'm going to say Florida protects home advantage now, and they go Florida in 6, so they protect the home for now.
Chris Saxman.
Yeah, but it's in 7. They go back. It's good, and the world needs Game 7 in the NHL playoffs every year.
Yeah, but
it should be
Logan
law.
Powell.
Go ahead and put it in. Yeah, I'm going to go Edmonton in 7 as well. I just think the star power is going to excel them over, but it's going to be a good series nonetheless.
All right, guys. Thank you. This segment brought to you by WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. It's one of the best websites you're going to find on West Virginia athletics. All my writers are right here, right now. Logan is here, Kyle Carrington, Brendan Statler, part of our A-team writing team there. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Sign up for our email alert so you get your email every day. We got great stories coming out following baseball. We had a piece by Mitch last evening, I believe, on Chase Meyer. We've got one coming out today on Ben Lumsden. So we do a lot of feature stories on that, but you want to check it out. WVSportsNation.com, WVSportsNation.com. Guys, let's get to baseball. There's a lot to talk about here. A lot of interesting things going on in the MLB. I want to refresh my coffee. So I am going to give the Pirates floor to Chris Saxman, who is starting a soliloquy about how somehow the Pirates were going to play 500 baseball for the rest of the season based on a managerial change for a guy we never heard of. Go ahead, Saxman.
Well, they are playing 500 baseball since they've made the managerial change, and they have made some changes in the lineup and got guys back or injured. Nick Gonzalez, who hit the sacrifice fly last night to beat the hated Phillies in PNC Park last night. But that's baseball. These things average out. If they bring up Bubba Chandler, which they should do, and have a dominant starting lineup, they could play 500 ball the rest of the year. Brandon, what do you think?
I wish I could believe that, but I've been through enough times with this team. I don't think there's any saving this team as they stand right now. I don't think Derek Shelton was the problem. You know, even going back to when Clint Hurdle was here and got the boot, I never thought Clint Hurdle was the problem. This is no disrespect to Don Kelly, the current manager. I don't think just switching the manager is going to all of a sudden make this team a watchable team. It's I got to see a lot more than what I've seen so far. They've had a couple exciting wins here and there, but I mean, the Pirates have always done that. They always will have a stretch where they're exciting to watch, then they always come back down to earth and, you know, same old Pirates. So I hope you're right, Chris, but I'm not a believer yet. We'll have to see.
Well, I'm not a believer. I'm just thinking that they're going to play 500 from here on out. Which
even I think that's giving them too much credit right now. I'm not so sure. I hope that's the case, but I'm not sure.
They've been playing good ball. They almost took 3 from San Diego. They almost took 3 from Houston. They're a different ball club.
Yeah, they certainly are a different ball club. I think they're just playing with a little more toughness. They're playing a little more edge, and it also looks like they're playing more comfortably. But I mean, the new manager, he has definitely brought that new mindset. But take yesterday, for example. He took out Bailey Falter with like 3 2/3 inning. Bases were loaded, and he was absolutely furious. And then I think it was Shugart came in and gave up an immediate 2-run single. So there are some of those little things, those managerial decisions that he's making that don't always pan out. But that's baseball. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. But overall, as a whole, right, I do like where the Pirates are going. And you mentioned their pitching staff, Chris. Really good pitching staff already. I mean, just a couple years ago, Mitch Keller was our ace. And now, a couple years later, right, once Bubba Chandler comes in, he's going to be 4 or 5. So,
yeah.
Mitch Keller at 4 or 5, that's a really good pitching staff. But, I mean, you got Connor Griffin balling in the lower divisions. You got Tamar Johnson balling out. So there are reinforcements coming for the Pirates. It's just when Paul Skeens is going to eventually get traded. When is that going to happen? Once that happens, it's going to be a different trajectory for the Pirates because once you trade him, you're going to get a lot of guys. So
they got 2 bats back. We got Nick Gonzalez, Spencer Horowitz back. They're not great, but if they're better than what they had, they're going to play better. Anyone else following this disaster of a team on the
Chris, how long before they ship all these players that are performing well to bigger markets?
Look, I don't need your negative attitude right now. Let's go to Matthew Lumberg.
I mean, yeah, obviously you guys are a lot more into it than I am. I suffer with the Red Sox sitting at 500 regardless of what they do. So I think 2027 is the year for the Pirates, in my opinion. I think that's the year that they need to circle and make moves around that. You need Skeens locked up long term. Bubba Chandler is going to be right in his prime. Jared Jones is going to be hopefully back healthy in 27. That is a three-headed monster. You get a circle 27. You get an offense with those three pitchers.
Yeah,
just that could be dangerous.
I think they're getting there. I think that's what the plan is. This is the plan. They're building their lineup. They got great arms in that starting lineup. And look, they put Braxton Ashcroft in middle relief. That's how many arms they have. He's a legit starter. Kyle Carrington, you follow this one at all?
I'm not spending time on my day watching the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, that probably explains your happiness and joy in life
more than I do.
Let's jump to more of the Major League Baseball. What's the line of what's your trajectory? What's your story of the year? What's going on in Major League Baseball, Logan Powell? What do you see? What's the pullback? Alien lands. You have to explain baseball. This is what's going on in baseball.
I would say, just last year they were talking about the pitch clock. How big of trouble that was. That's now fixed. There's not an issue with that. I think the newest thing this year is, can we just get the umpire challenging the strikes or balls? Can we just get it already? Because anytime I watch a game, I'm just like, why are we doing this? We have the technology. We've seen that it works in the minor leagues. We did it in spring training. Can we just bring it up?
I don't agree with that. I am 100% opposed to that. And I get what you're saying. It's not because I'm a traditionalist. It's just I just don't want another challenge. Umpires are part of the game. They have been part of baseball forever. They mean more than referees in football or basketball. It is part of the game. Balls and strikes are part of the game. Umpires have different strike zones. You got to adjust to that as opposed to a pitcher and a hitter. And, sometimes they're better than others. Sometimes they're wider. Sometimes they're high. Sometimes they're low. You want to take that out of the game and turn it over to technology. You're taking out one of the most humanistic interests of the game. You just take that out, and now it becomes electronic. I think that, and it just wastes time. You're going to be challenging a pitch. Come on, man. Play the game. Shut up and play the game. Bad calls are made. They've been made since 1890, right? You make bad calls. It's part of the game. Why on earth would you take that out?
I don't think.
Well, I'm looking forward to I like to see what the younger men here think about this get off the lawn mentality.
I honestly don't think that they have any serious intention of doing this. Because think about this. Doesn't Major League Baseball and really every other league, don't they want to have the bad calls once in a while to have a little bit of the controversy?
Yes.
Doesn't that add to the storyline? I don't think that they're ever going to do it. They talk about instituting these new rules, and all this other stuff, just so people like us will sit on and talk about it, and the people on ESPN will sit and talk about it. I think they want the human error element of the game, and it's not just Major League Baseball. It's every sport. I don't think they're going to eliminate something like that.
No, me either. And I hope you guys are right. But like Saxman says, let's hear from some of the younger guys. We heard from Logan and Statler. What about Kyle?
I'm with you, John. I think that we need the human error element in the game. If anything, we could go to the NFL, NBA style, 2 challenges, and if you get it right, you retain a challenge or something like that. But I don't want them challenging every pitch or every pitch being.
The game will be 12 hours long.
Yeah, I like the human error element of the baseball. I think that's baseball. That's what it's always been. That's what it's going to be. That's what it should be. So I think we stay away from the technology, at least not fully going into it.
Saxman, you're getting outvoted here by the generation. By the Zoomers are outvoting the old guy.
Well, no, I think there's a place for it. And I think there's some egregious calls. Like the other night, you had Davis striking out of 3-2 bases loaded.
Oh, now you're going to bring up so the Pirates win 67 games instead of 68 games. Come on, man. That's if that was in a playoff game, that was a meaningless game.
At some point, you have to be able to say honestly that's just not right.
It happens. It's part of the game.
There's a bad call, but you can't. That cannot be the case of all time. You just can't continually say that. in the world of sports.
Saxman, as soon as it happens to his Astros, he's going to reverse his stance on that.
Yeah, for the teams that don't cheat, this is really important.
Maybe we should start.
Speaking of baseball, we're going to have fun this segment because I got to go to Matthew Lumsden here. So your Red Sox, let's see. Let me check this out.
Go Yankees.
Let's see. 10.5 games out. Oh, your 10.5 games out, guys. Your guys are rolling. 10.5 games out. Oh, 8 games out of the wild card. Oh, that's got. Oh, and let's see. Bregman, who you signed from us, $40 million a year, paid him $40 million to do nothing because now he's hurt again, probably out until August or September when you start bringing up the minor leaguers when the roster expands. So $40 million there, guys, well spent. What do you think, Matthew?
I mean, they were I'd say an average to above average team last year. We bring in Garrett Crochet, who is a Cy Young level arm. We sign Alex Bregman, who's playing all-star level baseball before he gets hurt. And somehow we're worse. I call up Christian Campbell, who's a stud. Marcelo just gets and we're worse. I think the curse is back. They're plagued. It's going to be 500 baseball regardless of what we do. It makes no sense. You get a Cy Young candidate. You call up 2 of your top prospects. All-star level addition at third base, and not to mention Gold Glove level. You watched him for years, and we're worse. I don't know. It's a lost cause. I think the team's in trouble.
Saxman, I watched Crochet on Sunday pitch against, I forget who they were playing.
Anaheim, or right. I guess Los Angeles now.
It wasn't the Angels.
Yeah, that was the series.
He pitched 8 innings. I watched the whole game. I don't know what. Oh, because I had bet them.
I apologize for that. Yeah. I'm sorry that
I watched the whole game. I bet the Sox. This guy had one of the most dominating performances as a starter. I mean, he kept in what's his name? Your manager, the guy that's from the Astros, who was stealing signs as well. But you're a big market, so we got blamed. So
we kept the trash cans out of Cora, it. We never won anything.
So Cora, who was the institutor of the trash cans, to be honest. So Cora wants to take him out, and Crochet would not come out of the game. See, Sax and I are old school, right? And we're old school. And for a guy like that, I mean, he's basically waving off his manager, saying and shaking his head like, "I'm staying in this game." This was the 8th inning, and he threw harder in the 8th inning than he threw in the 2nd inning. And man, I gained so much respect for him. I'm like, this guy's a gamer. But you're right. I mean, you got great players, and you're 10.5 games out, and you got blown out last night.
It's a tough division. I mean, the Orioles are managing to get the 400 ball, and that's a good ball club too. But Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox. It's a tough division, and the Red Sox, I don't think have a personality. And haven't had it in
zero
10
identity.
years.
There's no swag. There's nothing exciting
Zero
about
identity.
us to watch.
There's nothing there. No, yeah. And they said we got over our skis on finances. We got to shape that up. Okay, fine. They're still a good ball club. People are still going to go to the Fenway, have a great time, get a Fenway Frank and an overpriced beer, and have a good time, and pretend that they're going to be a competitive ball club. They're just not there yet, and they'll get there. A couple more years of free agency and developing through the draft, and they might have a chance. But when the Yankees are stroking checks like they do, until you break out that big checkbook, you're just not going to get there on a consistent basis.
I'm not sure that's a fair take. I'm kind of with Matthew on this thing. I mean, they dramatically upgraded their roster, and they're worse. And so I don't know what is wrong with that team. I mean, they have upgrades. I mean, you take my team, half the team's out, and we're 2.5 games up in first place, and we keep winning with half a team. There's got to be a culture thing going on in there. Matthew,
there's no identity. It's I think you got to call up Roman Anthony. Dude's absolutely torching AAA, just hanging out, and then you got to go get another arm. I mean, the rotation's terrible outside of Crochet. Yeah. You watch. I'm sure Kyle watched last night. It was just disgusting. The pitching staff's horrendous. And I mean, to Saxman's point, the Rays are playing elite level baseball. The Blue Jays are pretty good. The Orioles might have figured it out. And the Yankees rake. I mean, it's a little league ballpark, but they rake.
Right.
So they need pitching. They got to go get another arm, get Roman Anthony up, and find an identity. To Saxman's point, I mean, we talked about West Virginia. They're gritty. They know their style of baseball. They know what it takes to win. Red Sox have zero identity. They're just out there with a couple good players, seeing what happens.
So let's talk about some of the surprise teams, good and bad. We'll stay in the East. Two teams there are shocking. Tampa Bay, they have no money. They're playing in a minor league ballpark. The roof blew off of that cement factory that they play in. They don't get anybody of it. They don't trade for anybody. They don't sign anybody. And yet here they are, 5 games up, second place, tied for the wild card or a game up. They shake the pitching tree. They get guys throwing 97 you never heard of. How do they do this? Anybody weigh in? How do they do it?
I think it's an elite organization. I mean, they have an identity. Everybody buys into it, and it's pretty clear the developmental system within that organization is top notch. Because you just said it. You get Joe Schmo from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I mean, terrible. LSU's legit, but they're all throwing 100. I think it's development and identity. Both are elite.
It could also be just vibes. I mean, I haven't watched much Rays this year, but being in that AAA stadium might just done something to them. They're just playing good baseball, and sometimes that's all you need is the vibes. I mean, a good organization, just developing your players, and that's what Tampa Bay has done, and they're reaping the benefits of right now. And also, I mean, on the other hand, you got the Orioles, who are probably the most disappointing team in baseball, and they're in the same division.
Baltimore is just not playing good baseball. I bet them last night. They got beat 5-4 by somebody. Oakland, right? Playing in that minor league park. So I'm up late watching that game. Another loser. I had a bad day yesterday. A bunch of losers. The Phillies being one of them. So it's 5-4. They got the bases loaded, 1 out. This is just a sign of a losing team, right? Bases loaded, 1 out, top of the 8th. Should be able to tie the game, right? Somebody's hit a fly ball someplace, right? Do a squeeze play. You're losing. Oakland brings in Mason Miller. He strikes out the next 2 guys on 6 pitches. 3 of them on the first guy struck out some pinch hitter, swung at 3 sliders a row in the dirt, strikes out. Didn't throw a strike. This is just a sign of a losing team, guys. I think the Orioles, I think they were overhyped, and they're just not a good ball team.
Well, I think the league has adjusted to their young talent. They've found the holes in their swings. They're playing against them. It's runs scored versus runs against. Tampa Bay is plus 48. They're number 3 in the American League. Here's an example, John. When you talk about it's just not just scoring and offense and defense. We talked about the Pirates. The Pirates have given up less runs than the Dodgers by 21 runs this year. They have been outscored by 150 runs this year. You talk about where it is. It is what it is. You're either scoring runs or you're not. And that's just the bottom line, right?
They're terrible.
I mean,
Numbers
it seems
don't
like
lie.
the Pirates get
All
shut
don't
out
lie.
every other game, or at least like once a series. They just mediocrity at its finest. But for the Orioles, I mean, they have no reason to be mediocre, but yet they still are. They had a very good season last year. They got the players for it. Gunnar Henderson's a star. He's one of the best shortstops, one of the best players in the league. But they just haven't been able to get it together, and the new manager still hasn't been able to figure it out. And like you've been mentioning, it's tough division, but Orioles are certainly, in my opinion, the most disappointing team of the season.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And they're like 15 games out, 10 games out of the wild card, getting beat in Oakland. They can't win a home game. I think they're done. Let's get to the essential biggest. I mean, it's a surprise, but not like a total shocker, but shocker that they're this good. Tigers, 20 games over 500, got the best record in baseball, running away with the division. What do you guys make of them?
Great balanced ball club. They don't give up runs and they score runs. This is there are 227 runs against this year and 320 runs scored. Is that's just flat out math. You know, that says to me, if I look at those stats, I go, that's a balanced ball club. Right?
You know who differential better than the Tigers?
Who?
The Yankees.
Why do you say that? Oh, because of the run differential.
Run differential, yeah.
I think they're.
But the Tigers,
102.
AJ Hinch is a fantastic manager. I mean, they built this team over the years. They had to get past the post Miguel Cabrera contract. You know, they pay him so much they couldn't get players for so long. Now they got the pitcher staff that they have. I mean, the Tigers, they're legitimately the best team in baseball, and they're legit. Yeah,
they're good. Certainly, dollar for dollar, they're the best team in the major league.
Anybody else want to weigh in on the Tigers?
Tree Schoolball is the greatest pitcher in the league. I mean, Paul Skeens, he's a close second, but Tree Schoolball, he's just dominant. He
wins every start, right? It's almost like
wins are overrated.
Remember when we were growing up, it was if Sandy Koufax pitched for the Dodgers, they won. I mean, just like it didn't matter. He got out there, they won. And that's kind of the way you feel with Skubal now. He pitches, they win. And sometimes teams play better for a certain pitcher, not only just because they're the pitcher, but like everybody's on their toes. There was a season where the Philadelphia Phillies, they lost 105 games. Last place, they won 60 games maybe. And Steve Carlton was a 32-game winner. He won half their games. He won 50% of their games.
That was nuts.
Look it up, right?
Yeah,
whenever he pitched,
yeah.
And I think Larry Bowa was the shortstop who said when his name was in that lineup card, he said everybody was on notice that you had to play the best game of that week, and you were just on your toes and did 150%, and then you went to bed. So great.
Which is the alternate view of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They can look at Paul Skeens and go, we can take the day off today. This is fantastic. We're still going to cover. This is great.
I personally, John, I think that wins for a starting pitcher are overrated. Yeah, it's hard to what's more important is a quality start. As long as you're producing quality starts, you're doing your job as a starting pitcher. You can't hit. I mean, we don't have Madison Bumgarner or Bartolo Colon hitting home runs anymore. So
right.
All you can do is do a quality start, and Tree Schoolball and Paul Skeens are the two best at it by far.
Okay, let's get to my favorite division, AL West, where my team, Astros, have half a team. Alvarez is hurt. 3 of our pitchers are hurt. Everybody's hurt, but we got a 2.5 game lead over Seattle, 7 games over 500. But the biggest story to me, because I'm a fan, is I am a Lance McCullers Jr. fan. He's been out for 2.5 seasons. Nobody ever thought he would come back. He's pitched 2 great games now straight after he's come back. He had a little bit of a hard start. The other day he had 12 strikeouts. Then he comes back with 6 shutout innings. And somehow this team, with half a team, continues to win. They've got like 5-6 guys on the injured list. How are they continuing to win?
The division's just been bad. Seattle hasn't been good. How the Rangers are as bad as they are baffles me because I think that they are a very talented team. The A's, I think, fooled everybody until about 20 games ago. But I will say Jacob Wilson is a stud. If anybody wants to go watch an elite hitter, Jacob Wilson out in, I guess they're in Vegas right now. Absolute stud. But yeah,
they're in Sacramento.
There we go. So, yeah, I think it's a weak division. I think the Astros are going to do what they do, though. That's an organization with an identity.
Well, I mean, the Astros are the number 4 in quality starts in the major leagues. If you can turn the ball over to your bullpen and scrap it through with some gutty play by their guys, it's like the top quality starts are Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Houston, and Pittsburgh. Right? If you can turn the ball over and legitimately say we got a shot at this thing every single day, it's a mentality thing. And it snowballs to Logan's previous point.
Well, I think the biggest thing the Astros have got going for them is Josh Hader right now is unconscious. He's not hittable. They've got 35 wins. He's got 18 saves. So he saved half their games. And his ERA is like 0.5. When these relievers like this, I mean, when we got him last season, he had a really good season, but he did blow some games. And of course, the big one was when we came in with the lead on the Tigers, and somebody hit a 3-run double off and to win that game and knock them out. But when he right now he's unhittable. So if he continues at that level, 18 saves, no blown saves. I mean, they get a 2-run lead in the 7th inning with Abreu and Hader. The game's over.
That's such an underrated aspect, in my opinion. To Saxman's point, obviously, when you can send guys out on the bump every day to start, it's a mentality. It gives you some confidence, some swag. But you go look when the Royals won it, they had that 3-headed monster. If they were up through 7, it was over. And that's demoralizing. I mean, you saw West Virginia continues to come back. If you go in and you're like, dang, if we're down after 7, we're done. That's a tough mental block to overcome. So, I mean, I think the bullpen is an elite aspect, and Houston's got it.
Yeah, because you relax. You get up there in the last couple of innings, you're like, we still got this. We can do this. Let's relax and hit the ball. Put a bat in the ball. Let's get it running.
He's talking about everybody but Hunter Brown. What about Hunter Brown? He's unhittable.
He's been fantastic. And Framber Valdez has had, I think, 2 or 3 unbelievable starts in a row. He's playing for a free agency. We're not going to sign him because we're actually too stupid to sign the best players we have. So he's playing for free agency. But look, they got Hunter Brown, they got Framber Valdez, they've got McCullers is back now. Arrighetti is out. He might come back soon. I think he hurt his thumb in batting practice or pepper or some stupid thing. And then they've got other guys still on the shelf also, Garcia, Javier. So a lot of injuries. We'll see what happens in the second half. And they're winning without their best hitter. Their best hitter, Alvarez, has been out since May. And I think he's not coming back now. He fractured his thumb until after the All-Star break. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, let's go to the National League. Mets. Are they doing what everybody thought they would do?
They're playing way better than I picked them to do at the beginning of this season. The Mets were kind of one of those teams for the longest time that were kind of mediocre. They weren't horrible, but they weren't, all that great either. They're playing really good baseball. I mean, former Pirate Starling Marte is swinging a great bat right now. This entire Mets team is just put together very well. They're very impressive so far.
What do you guys?
And once the Phillies figure out their bullpen, it's going to be a very tough stretch for the Mets.
Yeah, they're 2.5 games out. Here's a shocker: Atlanta, 8 games under 500, 12 games out, 10 games back in the wild card. This team is not even going to make the playoffs. They get beat again last night in Arizona on Thursday night. They blew a 9-4 lead in the 9th inning. 9-4 lead.
Zero
in the 9th inning. Right? Horrible. Then they turn around last night. I bet them because I figured if you blow a 9-4 lead, you're just going to come out and win the next day. They get beat again by whoever they were playing. It's unbelievable. They're horrible.
Oh, they just called up Kimbrel. They think it's 2015 all over again. I mean, I will say their offense is elite, but they can't hit. Yeah, we got Kimbrel coming out. Dude hasn't been in the bigs for a while. Like, it's a disaster. The pitching staff, I mean, Sale figured it out recently, but they can't hit, which makes no sense because they're good. They just can't hit, and they have no bullpen.
Looking for that second half turnaround for this team. They just got so much.
What happened
it's
to
not
Edwin
going to last.
Diaz? The guy with the trumpets. Lights out. What happened to him?
He was hurt, and then he came back. He just hasn't been as effective as he was. I mean, when he was playing, before he got his bad injury, he was playing really well. And then he got injured, and he came back. He just hasn't been the same. But for the Mets, I mean, if they can get Juan Soto going, they're going to have themselves a nice little 3-headed monster with Soto, with
Alonso, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So I mean, Soto, he's slowly but surely coming along. There's been some talk about him not, being a little lazy, not running out or whatnot, but he's starting to figure that out. And I think the Mets are going to be okay.
Well, you paid $750 million, so you're a billionaire. Why would you bother to run out a ground ball?
Yeah, I'm sure
it's a long way. Hey, it's a long way down
That's
there.
90 feet. I got a big bank account. I don't need to do that.
I wonder how much money he makes per step going down first base. probably like 50 million per step. Nah.
I gotta be honest. I look at a dollar bill on the ground these days at my age. I kind of go, man, it's a long way down there. You know, back in the day, you'd pick up a penny and think, I got a penny. Now you look at a dollar, like
bending over.
I might blow a hamstring on this one. I'm not sure about this. I feel sciatica.
You get to be a little
on.
older, and
Can
right.
someone get that? Can someone get that for me?
You know? I ain't too proud to pick up some quarters on the ground.
It's like you get a little bit older. Bending down is not one of your favorite things to do. No question about it.
You start taking your shoes off to grab it with your toes, right? You're just like, well, maybe I can get this with my toes.
Let's talk about a surprise team under the radar screen, Washington Nationals. They're actually playing pretty good baseball. They're only 3 games under 500. Everybody picked them to finish probably last behind Miami, but they're not playing bad baseball. They have a pretty good
young talent,
talent, right?
Mackenzie Gore's a stud. I mean, he was a top 5 pick for San Diego, I think 2017. He's elite. I mean, CJ Abrams is good. James Woods solid. Kybert Ruiz. They've got some good young. They've got a good young core. I'm excited to see what happens with them.
Yeah, Mackenzie Gore's finally starting to figure things out. He's been up and down throughout his career, but he's that ace that the Nationals need if they want to have any type of future. They have the young superstars like you mentioned, so it's just the pitching that's been a problem. But with Mackenzie Gore leading the way, they definitely have that ace that they can lean on, just like so many teams, so many good teams. When you think of a good team in baseball, the Tigers, so all these teams, the Astros or Valdez, they have that bona fide ace, and that's what Mackenzie Gore is for the Nationals.
Also, they hit a little bit. I mean, they got a good, young, exciting team. I went to one Nationals game, Saxman. I went to who had me there? Ben Tribbett had me in his box, so that was kind of fun. Ann and I went. I mean, they got beat that day, but it's a good, young, exciting team. I think they've got something going on. All right, before we get to NL Central and the Chicago Cubs, the big story there, this segment brought to you by another founding sponsor, Healthy Cell and REM Sleep. I got in very late last night, Eastern time, flying back from Vancouver, Washington. Took all day. And you're kind of wired when you get off, and it was like, I guess, 1 a.m. here or something. And it's like, man, I just got to get to bed. And, you're still on pack time because I was out there for 2 weeks. I took my REM sleep. I was out in 10 minutes, got up at 8 a.m. today Eastern, got a solid 7 hours, felt great, jumped out of bed, couldn't wait to get on this show, all because I take my REM sleep, which gets you in the all 4 categories of sleep. You dream like crazy. All you have to do is go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com/Godzilla. Get your REM sleep there. Promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Do your body a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Do everybody around you a favor. You don't want to get out of bed grumpy. You want to get out of bed happy, uplifted. Now, if you're Matthew Lumsden and you had to see the Edmonton Oilers blow that lead, it was a little tough to sleep. If he had REM sleep last night, he'd have been a lot more chipper today. So he needs to get that as an Oilers fan. Go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. Get 20% off on your REM sleep. You get the best night's sleep ever you're going to have. Okay, guys, Chicago Cubs. Are they for real as they seem on paper or what?
If Jameson Tellin can stop giving up home runs, I think that they have a 4-headed monster at starting pitcher.
Well, he's a former Pirate, so you can expect
that. Their pitching staff is deep. They're hitting the ball well. That balance, they got the balance. They are a for real team, but get to the playoffs, I'm not sure that they're going to make a deep run.
Why?
I think that starting pitch, I think that at the top, I don't think that they're going to be able to compete with the elite Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets. Those teams just hit the ball at a different pace than them.
Why don't we talk about the Dodgers? All that money, they buy every player imaginable. Here we are, June 7th. They're 1 game up over San Diego. They're 2 games up over the Giants, who you can't name 3 players on the Giants. And only 4 up, I think 4 or 5. No, 5 up over Arizona. Are they I mean, everybody thought the Dodgers were going to just run away with the division, win everything. They had all these great players. Chitoni, the other guy they got, all these players. They spent $1 billion on them. What's the deal?
Pitching. Their defense isn't next to their offense is dominant, and they'll look the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Yankees. Once they break free of the second half and they start staring down the barrel of the playoffs, they're going to start making moves and making trades and filling in the holes and become extra competitive. And it's all looking like pitching is the question mark for a lot of these teams. It's because Chicago rakes, the Dodgers rake. The problem for them is getting bullpens and quality starts. Kershaw. Anyone talk about Kershaw at all this year? Not really. So they just have to fill in the holes in their lineup, in the bullpen and in the arms, and they're gonna be there.
What are they?
They're gonna be there.
Division. I mean, did any of you guys think on April 1st that on June 7th the Dodgers would only have a 1, 2, and 5 game lead over San Diego, San Francisco, and Arizona? Matthew?
No, I mean, I don't think so. But at the end of the day, it's a 162 game season. I mean, there's plenty of time left. And as long as they get in the playoffs, they're going to be dangerous. And, I mean, I think it's the same across all sports. It's going to be health. What teams are healthy? Who's knocked up? I mean, Astros get back to healthy. They're going to be a force in the AL. Dodgers are healthy. They're going to be borderline unbeatable. I think just get to the playoffs, get healthy. It'll all work out the way it should.
The Giants their pitching is, look, they've given up 221 runs. The Dodgers have given up 288. That's a lot of runs to give up. While they've only scored 264 runs, the Giants, the Dodgers have scored 359.
Right.
I mean, there's your differential.
Logan,
right there.
Logan Webb is legit. He is now become one of the best pitchers in baseball. He is leading that pitching staff. He's leading the Giants, and that's one of the big reasons why they're up there. And I think if you're the Dodgers, you were expecting the Padres to be good, but I don't know if you were expecting the Giants to be as good as they are. And even the Diamondbacks, I mean, they're playing 500 baseball. Corbin Carroll is arguably the MVP of the season so far. So it's a really good division. But after the All-Star break, Chris, like you said, the Dodgers are going to lock in, and they're going to do what they need to do to get back to where they were.
So Corbin Carroll's hurt, could be out for this season. To me, that's got to be, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, that's got to be a death blow, right? Done.
They're in trouble, and that's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't get there.
Back to the NL West, the Padres, they're one arm away from winning the NL, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I think you give them one starting pitcher, one elite starting pitcher to go along with Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta, Michael King. One starting pitcher, I think that they could beat the Dodgers. They got enough. They got enough on offense. We know they got the bats. It's just they're one pitcher away.
That's not showing up in the stats. They are 100 runs down to the Dodgers so far this year. 100 runs, 359 to 255. They need a bat and an arm.
I think talent-wise, they got the lineup. I mean, Tatis, Cronenworth is good. Merrill's a stud. Arias, Machado. They've got the names. I think if
Xander Bogaerts,
they get hot. That's a legit lineup.
They need one more. They need one more.
Well, they need one more starter. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
But the shocker team to me here is the Giants. I mean, nobody would have expected on June 7th San Francisco Giants to be 2 games. What are they? 2 games out. They just keep winning. I mean, they won again last night. They beat Atlanta, right? They won again last night. So we'll see what happens. But listen,
look for a late season's call up for the Giants. Bryce Eldridge. I saw him at AA here in Richmond. Kid rakes. I mean, 6'7" first baseman. Good God. They just called him up to Sacramento. Look for him in the fall call.
Hey, and while we're talking shockers, let's not forget to mention the Colorado Rockies 3 wins in a row. Come on.
Yeah, baby, let's go. I was actually.
Who'd they sweep?
The Marlins.
Who'd they sweep?
Poverty versus poverty.
They lost last night though.
Yeah, the Mets derailed the win streak, which was unfortunate. But I saw the best part about it is if you go look at the Rockies X, they finally tweeted that they have more wins than Scotty Scheffler in like the last week. So that was funny.
That was a great
having
stat.
fun with it.
They still fill the stands, though. People love going to that
And
game
look,
downtown Denver.
the White Sox have won 21 games this season. So, let's not forget them either. They're starting to come back. All right, guys, we're out of time. Want to thank everybody for being with us on Godzilla Wins. And I'm going to give you my best bet for tonight. I'm going to go back with Philadelphia Phillies. They're going to win this game. Pirates are not going to beat them 2 in a row. You're on Godzilla Wins. Golf with Jay Delsing is next. Keep it right here. Thanks, guys. Great job.